Hey guys, it's Fred Nomster, and today, first of all, I want to thank my subscribers. All 2,000 plus of you are beautiful people. I never thought my channel would take off at the speed that it did, or how fast it would continue to grow, which may or may not be the reason this video is coming to you a few days late of my 2,000 subscriber mark, but that's beside the point. This is the first real subscriber special I've made. I've missed the opportunity at 1,000 subs because I was on vacation for about 2 weeks, so yeah, that was my excuse there. So what I'm doing here today is showing off what I've done in appreciation for all of you, since the beginning, pretty much. And now for those of you who don't know, my beginning was not on YouTube. I had a Reddit account, specifically a Minecraft Reddit account, before I ever created a YouTube channel. To put the story in perspective for you a little bit, my journey to where I am now on the internet began about 7 months ago when I posted a picture story on Minecraft Reddit made using screenshots I took in the game. Now, some of you may recognize the name Mushroom Steve, whether it be from the stories or the countless videos where I included the little mushroom. He isn't just some little random buddy I picked up along the way, he's what created my channel pretty much. Mushroom Steve is a story that follows adventures that I imagine Minecraft Steve antagonist would go on, but in a split universe where Steve is a mushroom. It's a bit silly, but I received fan art and hundreds of replies every time I posted a new story. It was awesome. It's the first time I ever got really into like a community-based thing, and that's pretty much what pushed me to make a YouTube account and start sharing other things I started doing, like Redstone, which I've been doing for years now. So links to all the stories will be in the description if you're interested. So, as homage to the stories that started my channel, and to all of you new faces that join my channel every single day, I mix my two loves together, mushrooms and redstone. Before we go any further, I want to thank the YouTuber Squirt Dude for giving me the inspiration to do this. He complimented my work, which is awesome, and he's doing a series at the moment where he does his best to recreate mods using only commands, which is a cool idea, but he mainly adds things that create a more realistic game, but I pretty much have an entire adventure map in the works that's dedicated to doing just that, so I thought I'd go for a more out-of-the-box type of mod and try to recreate it. Now, I've played a lot of mods in my day, but the only one I've ever really downloaded on my personal computer because I loved it so much was the mod Clay Soldiers. Now, if you don't know, Clay Soldiers is basically these little tiny soldiers that fight each other, and you can give them weapons and armor and stuff like that, and it's just a beautiful thing. Now, the reason I like this mod is because it has the same environment that Mushroom Steve does, basically. They're little tiny dudes in a bigger world, so I basically just replaced the Clay Soldiers with mushrooms, so I guess that's where I get the title Spore Soldiers, yeah? So if we fly up here, we can see the very beautiful battlefield that I put a lot of time and dedication into making. It's about 35 minutes tops. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm not a builder, guys. I'm a redstone dude. So this is what I have. But the thing is, you can also put this into your own worlds, but I'll also put a world down there in the description as well if you just want to test it out instead of putting your own worlds first. But all of that will be needed at the end of the discussion of the video, just because I have to explain the important stuff you have to do for it to work. So yeah. But anyways, as you can see, there are two clear different sides. There's brown side and red side. Red side is Mushroom Jeff, brown side is Mushroom Steve. So if we come over here, we also have a hotbar with a bunch of stuff. So red mushroom, brown mushroom, flower pot, which is armor, and the pickaxes, which is swords, I guess. It's what you fight with. It gives you more damage. And then block of gold. If you give it to the first mushroom that you put down on either side, like if you put down a red mushroom, you can give him a block of gold and he'll be the king, but you can only give him to the first mushroom, if that makes sense, the first mushroom of its type. So I can give both sides a king mushroom as long as it's the first mushroom I put down, if that makes sense. I'll explain that a little bit better, I guess. And then there's a barrier block, which has to be in the first slot or will not work, but basically if you pull it out, it freezes the mobs for 10 seconds, so you have to keep pulling it back out, like put it away and pull it back out if you want them to keep still, basically. But yeah, if you let go of it and just hold out whatever that isn't the first slot, you can just watch them fight non-stop, so it's pretty sweet. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the brown mushrooms down first. So basically, throw the mushroom on the ground. You can kind of see a little bit of a hint of what happens, but you see the little mushroom there. Now, that's beautiful. That's the representation of what the Spore Soldier will look like. We'll give him a pickaxe, like so. He's facing the wrong way, but that's beside the point. Now ignore the buttons, I'll explain those in a little bit. You might already guess what's going on, but yeah. So, another brown mushroom. Freeze him, and then give him a flower pot maybe. So he's actually in the flower pot as well, he's not just a flower pot. That was fun to do. And then one more, I guess. Give him one, And then we're going to go ahead and give... Actually, we'll just leave him a normal one, I guess. And we'll go into the red base, which is the mushroom Jeff's side, and throw down some red mushrooms. Get a normal one. Let's actually make this guy a king, so he gets a golden pickaxe. Beautiful. He's a little bit stronger than the normal ones with the pickaxes as well, so he's the strongest, I guess, but there's only one of them. Let's go ahead and get another red mushroom right here. Freeze him before he runs away. Give him an iron one. Pull out this to freeze him. And then put just one normal one in here. And I guess we'll have to see what happens. Actually, let's put another normal one right here. And maybe give him a flower pot. I like when the red side wins because it's like he defends the castle successfully, so it's beautiful. So if we pull out our fist and stop using the barrier block, first thing we'll see is these red mushrooms attack. And they attack. This guy's facing the wrong way for some reason. That's beside the point. He'll turn around when he fights. Now, the thing is, why the red side has a giant castle, yeah, he flipped around, is because the brown side charges and the red side doesn't, unless if it's aggroed, basically, unless if it's attacked. So they're fighting one-on-one. It looks like one of the soldiers lost in there already. Got two flower pots fighting, and it looks like the brown flower pot won as well. Jeez. Now king might get pushed off here, I'm not sure. Oh, nope. Looks like the king won, but there's still two more soldiers gonna kill the king probably. And there goes the king. Well, brown wins. So what did we learn here today? We learned that the brown mushrooms are better, which is to be expected. It's the main character. And we learned that there's not a whole lot of balance in this game. The stats are very difficult to use because of how everything works. And I'll go over that in just a second. Whee! Look at that editing. Wasn't that beautiful? What? He's still alive. And he can walk on air. Oh, he's cute. Push him off. Die. You do not deserve a winning place. I can't kill him. Aha! Alright, I realize I really don't know how to begin explaining this because there's so much, but basically it's just repetition. So I'll explain one thing and it'll pretty much explain the rest of the whole entire system in 3 different spots, basically. So yeah, let's start right here. Basically, this thing, I even like color-coded it with different mushrooms just so you can see the differences between the two, but that's just a lot of work. Mainly because I don't want to bore you guys with all my no-lifeness. So you have to hit these buttons to spawn in the squids. You have to do that manually unless you want to set up your own personal way to make that happen, but basically the squids allow the mushrooms to be spawned in the first place. So this is the brown side. As you can see, brown squid, and this one over here, red side, red squid. Beautiful. Right now, this squid is on this pressure plate, which connects to an AND gate, which is just hooked up to a constant signal, basically, but it's the only one here that is hooked up to a constant signal. So the squid has to be there, and you have to throw a mushroom for this to work. And basically, all these commands do a bunch of stuff, like spawning in the armor stands, which, if you haven't guessed, that's what the little tiny mushrooms are, and the swords and pickaxes and or whatever, all the flower pots and stuff, that's all just armor stands set with correct orientation, which you can just copy from these commands if you want, I guess, if you want to use it in your own worlds like that. But yeah, basically it's just invisible armor stands with no AI, and it just teleports to zombies and villager golems. That's what they're called. Just iron golems, basically. Anyways, I'll get to that in a second, though. So it's all hooked up to an AND gate. So right now, all that has to happen for this redstone to go off is for me to throw a brown mushroom. Now, this side won't go off considering it's testing for a red mushroom, yes? So yeah, each system is separate. Now, one of the commands, like this one right here, it teleports the squid to this one after I throw it. So I'll throw this, it'll spawn it in, and it'll teleport the squid. Now, I don't know what that is. I really don't. But it doesn't seem to affect anything, because there's no pressure plates or anything redstone-wise it's touching. I don't know why it's there. So I might have to mess around with that a little bit, but who knows. Anyways, we lost our little guy. He ran around somewhere. He's gone. But anyways, as you saw, it teleports to the next one, which allows a different one to be summoned. Now, if we come right here, I think, yeah, the first one is a zombie with the custom name of brown 1 right here. and the next one is a zombie, the custom name of Brown 2, with the same attributes and stuff like that. It's the exact same thing, but it just has a different name, and that's basically how I separated them. I didn't use scores or like testing. It's just basically how you make a game multiplayer. In my mind, that's how I did it. Anyways, I've never had to do it before, but instead of like how most people use scoreboards, I basically just use AND gates that test if the squid is on it, and if it does, it teleports to the next one that will also test it, but in a different way. So that's how that works, and it just keeps going down the line for 10. So I can throw another one, he teleports again, I can throw another one, teleports again, and so on and so forth until he reaches the end where it teleports him to like below, teleports him to a negative coordinate, which basically kills him and gets rid of his items and stuff. It's just a nice clean way of doing it. But yeah, basically that's how the entire system works in specifying what it's doing. This one is named Brown 1, and a brown mushroom with a that tests that there is a flower pot next to it will summon a zombie in its place named Brown 2, or yeah, something like that. I don't know. There's about 100 different names, so it's hard to keep track of, but yeah. So that's how that summons basically, and it does a couple different commands, like whatever this is. What is this? Yeah, and it also summons a villager golem as the red side, and that's why it doesn't charge the zombies, because villager golems don't aggro zombies unless they're hit by them. Even if there's like 5 villager golems and one zombie goes in the mix, only the one that it hits will attack the zombie. Get out of the way. Where's that redstone I broke? There it is. So that's why it's kind of lopsided. And then again, villager golems also throw zombies into the air, which makes them take damage as they hit the ground. So that was another thing to add in. So basically it's somewhat even, but the only thing that makes it uneven is that zombies, how they do is they horde on them, and then villager golems fight one at a time. So it was very hard to base. Basically it just depends on how many you throw. If you throw 10 villager golems and 5 zombies, that villager golems are obviously going to win because they're outnumbered, but those numbers start to blur a little bit as the closer they get together. It's kind of weird. But yeah, anyways, now there's a couple things that was difficult before I go on with the armor stands. Oh, he's such a cute little swine. Oh. So basically, I'll overlay a video right here just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about without me having to do a bunch of stuff in the meantime. Basically, I have to reset the orientation of the armor stands every 60 seconds. As you can see in this video, there's a very tiny movement, but it happens every 60 seconds in an armor stand. I don't know why. I tried setting it to no AI, that didn't help. I tried making it so random ticks are off, because random ticks control updates such as like growing crops and like breaking leaves that have no tree under them and stuff like that. So I thought that might affect it. It's just basically updating the armor stand and where it's at. But I really don't know why it does it. So it shouldn't make a difference in any case, other than the fact that I'm teleporting the armor stand 20 times a second, and that messes with it. It actually, in this video, as you can see, flips the armor stand not over, but it like moves it like a block up, because it's going so fast, it's teleporting to it so fast that it doesn't know what it's doing, I guess, is how it works. So I basically had to come up with a system to fix that, and what I did was I basically set up this little block right here. And this little block was about another 100 commands just to basically resummon all of the possible armor stands that are already on the field every 60 seconds, or every 56 seconds or something, just so it has enough time for the redstone and the armor stands update. And the thing I should mention is that all the armor stands are separate. If I throw one armor stand and then throw one armor stand 5 seconds later, the first one will update, and then the next one will update 5 seconds later. So it's all, it's not like a universal thing where all the armor stands update every 60 seconds. It's just each armor stand updates every 60 seconds from which it was put down or summoned, or per se, I guess. So yeah, this basically helps it by killing all the armor stands in the world and then setting it to a specific one. So the first one will be execute at red 1, which is the zombie named red 1, the first zombie, and then summon this long code. Yeah. And there's 100 of them or so. I think it's 10 by 10. And then there's a couple on the side for the kings that I forgot to add in because they make it about 102 different possibilities. But yeah, basically I just I tried to overcomplicate it a lot. I tried to like teleport the zombies a block. I mean, teleport the armor stands a block down and stuff like that. I just tried to make it way complicated, like adding wither skulls just for testing and stuff like that. And I was like, no. So I took about I took about a day and a half just sitting there, not thinking about it all. I just hung out with friends. I did stuff. And I came back to it in about 5 minutes. I thought of this basically, which was just to kill all the armor stands. Considering the main problem I had was I thought if I killed them, it would get rid of the tracking, not the tracking, but well, I guess the tracking of the stuff. But it would also get rid of the health attributes that the zombies had. But I'm not killing the zombies. The zombies aren't part of the problem, or the villager golems. I'm just killing the armor stands. So it's basically just an aesthetic fix, which this solves. So I just kill all the armor stands and then summon them back to whichever place they belonged in the first place. And I probably wouldn't recommend placing them down here because they'll be stepping on your redstone. Anyways, so yeah, that was the complicated part of this, really. I don't know why that was the most complicated. Everything else is pretty much just repetition, though. And then over here, we have this big long line, which tests for the flower pots. Not in the same way as this. Basically, it's testing relative to the zombies. So if we look at this one, it's testing at red 10, which is basically, it's testing at the 10th red mushroom, I guess. This one's probably testing at red 9, yeah, and then all the way to red 1. So over here is the front, actually, I think, if I come way over here. Yeah, let's go to brown 1. Is this brown 1? Beautiful. So at a brown mushroom, we're testing for an iron pickaxe. And if that is true, it goes ahead and it basically kills the brown mushroom that is there and then replaces it with another zombie, of which has it kills the armor stand and that zombie and replaces it with a new set of armor stands. And this one is a little bit more difficult and takes up a lot more teleport commands. As you can see, there's redstone blocks visible here, but that's just because it was only teleporting one armor stand, which is the brown mushroom or the red mushroom. This one has to teleport the mushroom and the pickaxe. This one has to teleport the mushroom and the flower pot, and this one over here does something. What does this do? Oh, this is the flower pot. And yeah, so there's 10 on this side for the brown mushrooms that you can have. There's 10 on this side for the red mushrooms. And then there's another 10 and another 10 for the different possibilities of mushrooms you can have for the pickaxes, yeah. So there's 20 different possibilities for each pickaxe you throw, basically, which is what this giant fill clock is testing for. And that's what's under this right here. Like, just this over here is a fill clock. So basically, that's all you have to do to set up the entire game. And, yeah. So to set up the... What? I don't care. Freaking space cows, man. They're everywhere. This is the fill clock, yeah? Okay. So I set gold blocks above each fill clock, so all you have to do is come in, you have to hit this button, and this basically sets up the scoreboard that tests seconds. So as you can see, it adds this 1 second pretty much on this 1 second clock, so every second it gets a second to score. And when it gets to 56, that's how it tests how minutely, basically, it resets the armor stands. So yeah, you have to hit this button right here. You have to go to each gold block and then specifically just reset the fill blocks. And I'll go into it a little bit more in depth for those of you who don't know how fill clocks work. Basically, there's a fill right here for stone and a fill right here for redstone. If it wasn't working, you could break this and it wouldn't come back like it just did. But if it does come back, then it's working, I guess. But basically, you break it and then you shift and then right click and it'll place the redstone block. And how to test it is you break it again, and if it comes back, that means the clock is working. And you'll probably get a bunch of messages saying that, like all the commands. So you just go to game rule, command block output, false. And if you hit that, then it will stop saying those messages. So that's that. Just a little tip for beginners. This is another hop clock. Basically, you just have to take the item out and then put it back in, because it will be a little messed up probably. That's how it was for me. Or just add an item in there of your choice if there isn't one at all. And these furnaces, I thought this was pretty neat. It doesn't really help on this map, but I just left it here so I'd remember to tell you. Basically, if you put an empty furnace or an empty anything with a small amount of checks in it, basically, it will reduce the amount of lag from hopper clocks, basically. So if you have a map that has a bunch of hopper clocks or a bunch of hoppers in general, it'll reduce the lag because it doesn't have to check that there's an item on top of it anymore. And there's a lot of items, so it has to check a lot of different things just for one hopper to work. So basically, if you put this here, it's no longer checking for an item. It's just checking the furnace, which is a lot easier than checking all the items. So yeah. Anyways, it just reduces lag. Not in this case. The lag comes from all the fill clocks and command blocks here, but I just thought that was neat. Sparks told me that. His channel is Accidental Games. I'll link in the description. He's pretty cool. Anyways, let's go on to the next one right here. Now these ones are a little bit more difficult to get to. This one not in general. Yep, that's how that works. Basically, just put a redstone block there, and that clock should start. After you break it, put it back if it doesn't come back. This one's a little bit more difficult. What you do is you come below and you break this, put it back. You come below, break this, and put it back. Now, that may or may not give you the chance to break a command block. If so, I'm sorry. I just don't really want to spend more time on making a easier way to do it, just so a handful of people that don't understand the commands or how it works basically will have a better way of explaining it. So I hope you guys like this video though. I really enjoyed making this. Despite the fact that there's a lot of commands, this only took about 4 days to make from start to finish, like from conception of idea to finish. It was pretty decent, I thought, and I really like how it works. It works decently. I think it's not too bad. Little mushroom follows you around, and there's so many different ways you could use this. Just this concept in general, you can have a pet of like any item specifically, just using armor stands and teleport them to your wolf maybe, so the wolf follows you, but it's just that, you know? I don't know. Give this guy a little pickaxe. Watch them fight. I just want to watch one fight one last time, see who wins, see who's better, even though I gave everyone a pickaxe. Let's go ahead and get that guy a pickaxe, actually. I missed. Let's pick it up. So most likely red will win, but most likely I suck and he won't, so let's see. Nope, yeah, red lost. Okay. So the balance issues, they're there, obviously. It's not the best game. It's not really a competitive game though, so I wouldn't worry about too much. It's mainly just have fun building your own battlefield and just playing with the little tiny dudes and just see what it's like basically. I lost that mushroom already. He even has a floating button. Oh, and the reason there's a button is zombies burn in the daylight, but he's wearing a button on his head so he doesn't burn in the daylight. So a way to get rid of the button is to build a giant thing over him, or to basically do it at nighttime. But if you do it at nighttime, then more zombies will spawn, so there's a big issue there. So basically, yeah, I don't know. You basically have to light up the place artificially and then block off the sunlight to get rid of that button if you really want to. But yeah, so I guess thanks for watching, guys, and I want to thank all of my subscribers again. You're beautiful people, and thank you, Squirt Dude, for giving me the idea of trying to recreate a mod. You didn't really tell me to recreate this mod at all, but he didn't anyways. He just said that, I don't know, what did he do? He does that kind of stuff, and it inspired me to do it, and I like that kind of stuff. I like when people inspire me, so I really enjoy inspiring other people. So I hope this helps you guys with your imaginations, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.